and Jay. This is a podcast that we'll settle on a name of later.
Yeah.
And today we're just going to talk about this song that JC co-wrote with this Brandon Burnett dude. And I'm going to play a little bit of it because I think that you can get sued if you play too much of it. And then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after that. Sound good?
Yes, that's great.
Awesome. Let's do it. Okay, so you listen to the song, and yeah, so what do you think?
I mean, I'm not gonna buy it, but I like it. Because I'm just mad because he wrote it, but he's not singing it, and it frustrates me because it sounds like something that he would totally sing.
Yeah, so when I first heard it, and literally, I'm just going to say this. See, I say this all the time. I love him. I love him. Not in a creepy, I think I really know and love him kind of way, but you know what I mean? Like, I love his voice. Yeah. I love his music. He's awesome.
Right.
At the same time, I think I have really, really high standards because I really loved Schizo so much in the little bit that we got to hear from Kate. So occasionally when I will hear something from somebody that he's working with or whatever, I will be a little bit disappointed. So I was underwhelmed. I'm such a bad fan. I'm such a bad fan. He would hate me if he met me. I know he would.
I don't think he would hate you. No, I think, no, I understand because I'm like, I feel like from the little bit that I did listen to, it just kind of sounded like, I mean, it was like definitely, you could tell it was his style.
Kind of like almost, Zayn Malik's like rejected text.
It's the same thing that we keep hearing. And I'm like, dude, you're talented. Come on. That's so mean of me to say.
No,
I'm not out there producing anyone.
That's how I feel. And I feel like we got little, so I'm telling you now, I'm sorry, I'm cooking while I'm doing
that's your totally
real life. That's what's going on right now. Next time I will really make the effort to be sitting somewhere quiet when we do this without other stuff going on. But hey, first time, right? We had to
we finally got it to work.
Yay! So yeah, I think that Schizophrenic had so much, like, just amazing things going for it, so many amazing things going from it, and then you had, like, You Ruined Me, and Until Yesterday, which I just thought were, like, brilliant songs, and so I've always felt like, oh my gosh, this guy is so talented, and he's got all of this great stuff, and then I hear something like that, and I get it, he's co-writing, and this is maybe exactly what this Brandon Burnett kid wanted, but I feel like,
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I feel like I loved Schizophrenic, and from what I've heard of Kate, I think I would have liked that album more. I don't know, I feel like that was more my, like, what I thought his first album was going to be, but, so I'm kind of pissed off that it's still not released, because I think,
I'm so
that, like,
pissed off.
Schizophrenic never got the recognition it deserved. I think he released it. It just came out at a bad time.
No, yeah, I'm going to agree with you that it came out at a bad time, that the label, like, completely messed that up just with promotion or lack thereof. There are so many things to delve into as far as that goes. But the other issue that I have is, I think, and I'm saying this not just as an NSYNC fan, but specifically as a JC fan, a lot of his fans were so shitty about it. And it became this isn't what I thought it was going to sound like. And oh my gosh, there's so much sex in it. And I was just like, number one, he's not making NSYNC Part 2. The record. Right. That's number one. Number two, with, like, I feel like songs nowadays have way more sex in them than, Schizo did. And I was also just kind of like, dude, he's 20, whatever, what was he, 27, 28, something like that. I can't count right now. When that album came out.
When that album came out, I was 20, I'm so aging myself. I was 24, and I just remember thinking, like, finally, there's an album that, like, we wanted them to make an instinct.
Exactly, because it was kind of like, what do you guys think that people this age are doing?
I mean,
I don't know.
It's kind of obvious what he was doing,
and
but
that's
anyway.
Totally okay, and I'm fine with him singing about that in great detail.
Yeah. Especially, oh crap. Well, oh, Come to Me. Holy crap. I listened to that like on repeat.
Yeah.
I was like, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, is this what he's really talking about? All right.
Yeah. It's so funny because I remember probably like 2 or 3 years ago talking to a couple of people who recently realized what the song was about. And I was so confused. And I was
Were
like,
they 5 when the album came out?
but no, these were people that are like my age, so they're currently in their 30s, and I'm just kind of like, but like he says it in the last verse of the song. He sings it. Like he spells it out for you. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's no questioning like what. Okay, well, wow.
Yeah. So
They probably thought Giddy Up was about riding horses.
well, that's what Lance said, right? So it was just kind of funny to me because it was like, oh my gosh, I only just now got what he was singing about, and I was confused. So I don't know. So yeah. So back to this Fuel song. I also, and this is where I'm just gonna sound critical and like a terrible, horrible human being, and I don't mean it. Number one, I mean, I do mean it, but I don't mean to be mean. Like, number one, obviously, the song would be fire if he were singing it. And that's just because, like, dude could sing literally anything, and it would be fire. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, the whole rhyme scheme, just, I didn't like it. It was like...
No, it was cheesy.
It was kind of cheesy, and I kind of feel like the first verse, and see, you got to listen to the whole thing. Because I feel like the second verse I understood in the context of like the chorus or the fueling the fire more than I did the first verse. And that could just be me. But the first verse was just like all of these rhyming words. And I was trying to like put it into the context of like, you know, like they tell you when you take songwriting classes or whatever, like everything is supposed to be leading up to the chorus. So I kind of feel like it didn't do that. Just like lyrically, I was a little confused about what was happening. But I totally want you to finish listening to the song.
I don't like it.
I'm only laughing because I felt the same way, and then I felt like a bad fan.
No. See, there's a difference. A bad fan are the fans that just download that just because he wrote it.
Well, you know.
We are good fans because we
have discernment.
We had discernment. Also, that is the most repetitive song I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny that you say that because another friend of mine said the same thing. She was just like, okay, like Fueling the Fire. It's just after a minute and a half of that you repeat it over and over and over again. But what it kind of makes me want to know, and I haven't done it, and I guess I could because I'm on SoundCloud right now. I kind of want to listen to this dude's other stuff and see if it all kind of sounds the same. But it did. It got really repetitive, and it just wasn't interesting.
Well, like at first I was like, oh, this is nice because it sounds like JC. And then when he started singing, I started getting mad because I was like, JC could have sung this. It sounds just like him. And then, but as it went on, I'm like, oh, I'm glad he didn't because this is like, I would be bored. Well, I wouldn't be bored. I would probably just like listen to it and think about naughty things. But you know,
I mean, that just kind of
help it
with the territory. So
right,
totally. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I was gonna say, what I did like, I liked the drum track. I don't know if it was programmed. It sounded like there could have been some live drums in there. I liked the drums. I did. So I don't know if that was the producer. I don't know who did that, but like, yay, A+. That part was kind of nice to me.
Did he produce it or did he just co-write?
The only thing that the guy said on Instagram was that he co-wrote it. So,
but didn't JC say something on Twitter?
He didn't even mention himself on Twitter. All he said on Twitter was like, my buddy Brandon released a song. Can we talk about that for a moment? What is it about this dude? And like, it's great. He's a good friend. He likes to, talk about his friends' accomplishments, and that's wonderful and sweet and kind and probably means that he's like a fabulous human being. However, why does he never talk about what he's doing?
Yeah, because the crazy ass fans that come back and are like, oh, tweet me. Maybe that's why. I don't know, but it's like every time, like, I mean, I'm never on Twitter, but like when I do get on Twitter and I look at his posts, I get so irritated because I'm like, I don't care about these no-name people that really. Never mind. That's just me. I was gonna say, these
girl, you can sit with me. You can. What is that saying? If you don't have anything nice to say, come sit next to me.
But I mean, like these people, like, let's go back to Pro Radical. What are any of those girls doing?
Okay, that needs to be a whole other podcast. I would just like to say, as a preference to anything that I may say later, lest I sound as like a bitter, horrible person, I love to see particularly young people who are really motivated to go out and do what they're passionate about. I really do.
Right.
I love that. Like, I think it's so inspiring and it's so encouraging, and especially when it comes to being in the arts, because we live in this world, this society that totally devalues art and creativity. So nothing against that, but the execution
Lord.
left a lot to be desired. But like, seriously, we should get into that another time.
Yeah, because we need to talk about how he let them call him dad. That was just disturbing.
I mean, I would call him daddy, but
call him daddy the same reason I would call him daddy. You can't call him that because no.
Moving on. But I get what you're saying about the crazy fans, but this is the part that's just kind of, I don't understand it. So, a few years back, maybe like 3 years or something like that. I want to say it was like 3 years ago, because that's when I kind of went off of all social media for like a year and a half. Of course, during that time period, he was like on Twitter and he was tweeting fans and like replying to things, and, like interacting with people, which was like super cool. And here's my thing. I don't, like, all celebrities don't do that. And I think that's totally fine, because people are weird and they're really intrusive and they ask really inappropriate questions. And I totally get if you're one of the ones who's just like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. But the thing that's so weird to me is, like, so he did that for a hot minute and then he stopped and then he came back, what was it, like 2 years ago? My timing might be off.
3. I would say 3.
Okay, so then maybe that was 4 or 5 years ago. And then like 3 years ago he came back, because it was around the time that he did the My Girl for the Smokey Robinson album. And he was like, hey, I'm back and I'm going to try to be more active. And that's when he had updated his Facebook page, and he created a Tumblr, or somebody created a Tumblr for him, and he put some stuff up on SoundCloud, and he was like, I'm going to try to be more active on here. And then nothing. And I'm assuming stuff happened, that we're not privy to, which that's fine. But it's just kind of his way that he kind of comes in and says like a little bit every now and again that's like kind of odd to me, but it's usually about someone else, and then he goes away and doesn't say anything for like
and then we have to find out tweets from his girlfriend's cousin about how whatever.
Oh gosh,
hate her. It's weird. It's like he like teases, and he has. I personally think he has an Instagram. I really do.
Oh, that's like private. Oh yeah. There are a lot of like famous people that do have Instagrams that just people don't know about, which I understand that, because if you're sharing with like your real friends and your family, I wouldn't want, people are crazy. And like I said, they're intrusive and they're inappropriate, and so totally.
But I just wish he would create one, like, that we could look at.
The thing that's just so odd for me is I kind of feel like, and maybe, I don't know, I guess I tend to look at certain things kind of black and white. It's I'm kind of here sort of sometimes, but not really. That's weird to me. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, again, did he tweet about one night? I don't even think he really tweeted about one night.
And he should have.
Not one night, opening night. I always call it the wrong thing. Opening night.
Opening night.
Right.
Opening night, yes.
Right. He didn't. And I'm like, you're doing this. This is a movie that you're in. Why are you not talking it up and telling your fans who clearly are here for you, not for what your friends are doing? And that's the part that's so weird to me. Like, I would almost figure he would either be kind of in it and tweeting and doing the social media thing kind of completely, or at least more than he does, or just not at all. It's the weird way that he does it to me.
Yeah, it's like it's not even a happy medium.
Yeah.
Like it's like, here, I'm gonna give you like 2%, and then I'm gonna leave, and then I might come back in a month.
And let's talk about his crazy fans who stalk people.
Yes, if any of you crazy fans are listening to this, please stop, because you are the reason he's not doing anything right now. The end.
I get it. You're interested. You want to know. So you friend his dad on Facebook, which I mean, like, in general, I don't see. I mean, I guess if his dad wants to befriend fans on Facebook, like, more power to his dad. I would just like to state for the record that I'm not friends with his dad on Facebook, but I get it. I totally get it. I'm okay. Did you say yet?
I said yes. I think I'm gonna cave.
We do actually, Mr. Chasez and I do have some friends in common. But we're not friends on Facebook, but like that's cool. I don't get it, but I don't have to, and that's fine. But the part that crosses into bizarro weirdo freakazoid territory are the fans who like send him personal messages about JC and post pictures to his feed and like try to engage him.
From like 1999.
Right.
What is that?
Like, and you're doing that, and what do you like? Do you want him to be like, oh yeah, he was really hot in 19? Like, what's the goal? I don't understand it. I don't know if it's like, oh, I'm interacting with his father, which is kind of like substitutionary for me interacting with him, or it's like JC adjacent. So I don't know.
Because then they can say, oh, I know JC's dad.
Don't.
No, you don't. You know Facebook JC's dad. Also, I think, then you have to go to like him as to why he's friending all these fans. I mean, does he like feel sorry for them? Like, because you got to look at some of these girls' profiles. Ooh.
I have heard things about Mr. Chasez and the fans that he friends. I've heard things. I've seen I have seen screen caps. No, I don't mean I've heard anything interesting. I've just heard that like some of the fans are crazy. And still he does, like, he's very nice to them, and he does. But I would totally love to have him on this podcast so that I could just ask him like, why? Why? That would just be my question. He could tell me where I could stick it, because I don't have any.
I don't think he doesn't seem the type to say stick it.
I don't have any right to really ask that question. It's just so bizarre to me. Like, these poor girls are so delusional and weird, and why are you kind of like gassing them up? Like,
like. Well, I mean, and Joey's dad does it too, though. I mean, we know that Joey's dad's
That is true. I forgot about Mr. Fatone. I did.
I haven't friended him.
Yet.
I'm not, ever. No.
Our mutual friend, who shall remain nameless, you know who I'm talking about, is friends with Joe Sr., and she plays some online game with him.
I know. She was bragging about it to me, and I was like, really? I really? Okay. I just don't.
I mean,
I couldn't.
This is my thing. Mr. Chasez might be a perfectly lovely man. I'm sure he is. But, like, I want to know JC. So I'm not going to friend his dad. It's just, unless, again, we have some friends in common, so, whatever. I'm not knocking anybody who does that. Please don't take it that way.
But here's the thing. It's not like his dad is going to be like, son, I friended the best girl for you. You should get on Facebook and friend her. She seems so great. You would make a great couple. Are you kidding me? If anything, he's probably like, why are you such a creep, Dad?
He's probably taking a list of, okay, here's some names and faces. If I ever encounter these people, let me run in the opposite direction. But again, that's the thing that I just kind of wonder, like, what are they getting out of it? Like, emotionally, psychologically, I feel like there is some pathology behind that, and I want to know what it is. But another friend of mine who is a huge Justin fan says if she thought that Lynn would friend her, she would friend her on Facebook in a heartbeat. So.
Oh, she does. I mean, I only know that because I've stopped. I mean, I've looked at Lynn, and she's definitely friends with a lot of fans.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you should tell your friend that because I'm pretty sure Lynn would friend her.
I will text her tonight and let her know. Okay. Well, there's that, and that's cool. I think that our mutual friend who plays an online game with Joe Senior, I think that she sent Chris's mom a Facebook request, but I think it got denied.
Well, good. Chris's mom was probably like,
do you know, let me tell you, I love Chris's mom. I say that like I know the woman, but what I remember about Chris's mom, and it's the only thing that I remember about Chris's mom, was it in the mix video, like 1998, where she was like, people come up to me all the time and they're like, I'll bet you're his biggest fan. And she was like, I bet not. I was like, this woman is just pure gold. I want to sit with her. Like, that was such a response like that my mom would make. I loved her. I loved her at that moment. I was like, this woman is amazing. So, yeah.
My favorite part of the mix video is when JC hugged his parents.
Aww.
And he said, this is my mom. I was like, oh, he's so much taller than her. She's so cute.
I wonder if that's why he typically dates really short girls.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe it's a mom thing. I would like to say for the record that I am 5'2". So.
I am 5'6", so it's not happening.
This actually might be a good place to end it.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to figure out how we're going to end it, and then we can talk about what we're going to do for episode number 2.
Okay. Let's see. How do we end this?
Well, I guess tonight we can just go out with a little bit more of Fuel and Brandon Burnett.
We have to.
We'll see you
I'd rather go out with him singing to me.
You'll have to wait till I fix the audio. We'll see you next time, except we won't see you because this is a podcast and we can't see you.
Yeah, I like that. That's funny.